I bet for all neutral rugby fans, the first half must have been a snooze fest. Oh, but what a game it was. To be a Springbok supporter this evening is a very lekker feeling. So guys, this video I want to keep it under 6 minutes. A post-match review of the Springboks versus the British Lions in the second test. So just a couple of points that I want to highlight in this game. So in the first half, it was a different arm wrestle between these two giants. I think that the Springboks, they actually were a little bit pedestrian in the attack. I didn't like the one-off runners they had in the beginning of the first half. I thought that more variation was required from the attack, whereby the Springboks, they usually used their forwards as one-off runners, taking on the British and Irish Lions defensive line. It didn't work. But it was the opening, I guess. It was just to soften up the opposition. Then when Pieter-Steph du Toit went off, I thought that was game over. He got injured in the 21st minute of the first half, and I definitely thought that it's game over, because everybody said that if the Lions are on par with the Springboks, or even a few points behind the Springboks, the Lions will come back in the second half with their superior fitness to actually beat the Springboks in the second half. And when Pieter-Steph du Toit went off injured, I thought that is game over. Then obviously the Springboks got some possession and ball in the second half. The set pieces started working, and we had Andre Pollard giving a kick pass onto Mapimpi. Mapimpi ran onto the ball exquisitely. I must say, in the build-up to this test matches, everybody's attention was on Cheslin Kolbe, and everybody was sleeping on Makazole Mapimpi. That guy is a deadly finisher, and I bet you in the third test the eyes will be on Mapimpi, and hopefully there will be a gap for Kolbe on his wing while everybody will be focusing on Mapimpi again. But that try that was scored from Mapimpi was a beautiful try. Oh, it was sublime. The kick from Andre Pollard was on the money. In the second try the Springboks scored was the try from Lukhanyo M, where Faf de Klerk gave a chip through, and M, he basically fell on the ball just before it crossed the whitewash. Another beautiful try. It was needed at the right time for the Springboks to get those points. So what I'm going to do now, I just want to basically cover and look at what went well for the Boks in this particular test match, and also what went wrong for the Lions. So what went well for the Springboks in this test match was the improved kicking game. The Springboks, between Andre Pollard and Faf de Klerk, they had an excellent kicking game. They put the ball in space, and they also put the ball high enough for the Springbok chasers to get close to the ball, to put pressure on the Lions receivers. And they're obviously playing for a turnover. So I think the kicking from the Springboks was excellent. Then the other weapon that the Springboks normally uses in their games was the rolling maul. Last week, the Lions were very successful in stopping or defending the South African rolling maul. Also, the Springboks didn't get so much line out last week, whereas in tonight's game, the Springboks got actually a little bit more lineouts. I think there was 11 lineouts they got, and the rolling maul was brought into action, and they actually did very well with the rolling maul, obviously getting penalties from it. I think there was like 2 or 3 rolling mauls where the Springboks went beyond 10 meters. So I think that was a huge weapon. It's one of the biggest weapons the Springbok have. And if you don't stop the Springbok rolling maul, the chance that they will lose the game is extremely high. Then I must also say the Springbok scrum was also improved from last week. In the start we had Frans Malherbe, Bongino Manambi, and we had Steven Kitshoff, they scrummed excellent. I think in the first half the scrums were on par from both sides, but when the bomb squad members came in, that is now Vincent Koch, Trevor Nyankane, as well as Malcolm Max, from when they came in, they started to produce more scrum penalties that actually helped the Springboks to be more in the lines half of the field, and also then to implement the driving maul. So I think the Springbok scrum, it came out very well tonight, and it's something that Warren Gatland and his team have to look at for next week. Otherwise they're going to have a long night and we'll see the same type of scoreline to what we saw tonight. And then finally, what the Boks did right tonight was implementing the bomb squad at the right time. Last week the forwards came on too early, but tonight they came on, I think, at the 60th minute, and it was the perfect time for the bomb squad to come on. I think Noah de Jager, he had a definite impact on the game when he came on. Like I previously said, the front row, they had an impact when they came on, and also Yankees, he also did well when he came on for Faf de Klerk. So I just want to quickly touch on what the Lions didn't do well, and 3 points that they have to improve on in order for them to stand a chance to beat the world champions. I thought that the Lions, they were too one-dimensional tonight. I think Dan Bigger, he overplayed the up and under, the Gary Owens, being in the Springbok between the 10-meter line and the 22-meter line. I don't think that's the place to overdo the up and unders. I just feel that Dan Bigger or the Lions, the tactic there was overcooked. They did it too much, and the Springboks actually performed well under the high ball, and they actually caught more high balls compared to last week. I feel that the Lions also didn't have a plan B. When the Lions saw that the Springboks was starting to dominate in front amongst the forwards at ruck time, they had to do something else, and they didn't adjust to that pressure. So in order to beat the Springboks, you have to come up with a plan B. It's either Warren Gatland and his team, they will try to beat the Springboks at their own game, what they did very well last week, or they will have to throw the ball out wide to the edges of the field. On hindsight is that the Springboks, they want you to play rugby, they want you to play the ball out wide. That's actually what the Springbok does, they want you to play. So I think the Lions are in a catch-22 when it comes to next week in changing the game plan. So it will be very interesting to see what they're going to do next week. Yeah, and the final point that I think that the Lions have to work on, that we have to do, I think they need personnel changes in the back three. The guys tonight, they didn't do too well under the high ball. I think next week guys like Josh Adams, Liam Williams, those are the guys that Warren Gatland should bring in my opinion, for next week, if they stand a chance to win the Springboks. It all depends what type of tactic they're going to play. I also think they have to bring in Ali Price to add more spice and more zip into the back line. Conor Murray is not the guy to play against this kind of Springbok team. So those are the points that I think the Lions must work on in order for them to stand a chance. But it's good to see the world champions in this attitude. It's good to see the world champions being this fiery, and it all sets up for a very interesting week this week. I wonder what Warren Gatland is going to do this week. Is he going to have a 60-minute video where he's going to lambast the officials? I don't know. I hope so. It's great content for us YouTubers. But yeah, guys, what do you guys think? How do you find the game? Do you think the Springboks will continue in this form for next week? Do you think the Lions will come back next week to win the series? Yeah, so guys, thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and please support my channel by liking this video. Until my next video.